Hello everyone, I'm Beastly Eel, and in today's video we're going to be talking about my predictions for the next death battle. And this next death battle kind of threw me off because I wasn't prepared for this, but it's going to be between Hulk from Marvel versus Godzilla from Godzilla. So at first I was kind of like, this is weird because Godzilla, so like, don't get me wrong, at first thought it's like, how can these two fight? And I know this is going to sound weird to say, but Hulk is only so tall, and Godzilla is massive, right? Not to say that, Hulk can't fight a creature that's 100 times bigger than him. But I just wanted to make that very clear that I just thought that was kind of odd. But that being said, um, I went on a deep dive with both these characters, and I mean, Hulk for the most part, he can get stronger the angrier he gets and everything, but he doesn't get too much bigger. Um, I mean, he gets pretty large in general, but he doesn't get anywhere close to um, Godzilla size. But that doesn't mean he can't still fight. He's incredibly strong, as we know. He's able to do a lot of damage in a short amount of time. He can take a lot of damage, and as long as his head is not removed from his body, um, and there's still, because there's a certain, his adrenal gland is the one that controls the ability to be the Hulk. So as long as that's not damaged or destroyed completely, he could pretty much heal from anything, which I find to be very interesting in that sense. But I mean, he's physically strong. Obviously, he can throw massive objects. He can punch. He can tear. He can climb. He also has his World Breaker form, which is strong enough to cause some multiversal damage, which is huge and which should show how powerful his attacks will be in this. Obviously, he kind of radiates a little bit of gamma radiation, and he also likes to absorb radiation to make himself stronger. Now, Godzilla, massive lizard, um, dragon-esque creature, swims very fast. He's amphibious, so he has the ability to breathe underwater and on land. I know that's not what all amphibians can do, but I just know that that's one thing he can do. He can absorb nuclear radiation to make himself stronger, which is something I never knew. I don't know why I'm surprised by it because it makes sense on paper, but I was not prepared for it. I'll say it that way. That being said, I was very surprised by that. Could also make his nuclear napalm blast from his mouth also stronger. So all that kind of combined, he feeds on energy and everything else, and craves radiation, and with more radiation around him, the more he heals, which is something I wasn't thinking of either. Obviously, incredibly strong, can cause a lot of damage, can cut through a battleship with its tail with ease. I'm trying to think of anything else. Like, those are like the big things, right? And they've gone toe to toe, right? Oh, well, I think they've gone toe to toe in the comics, I believe. But, so I guess my idea is strength wise, I feel like I think Hulk is stronger. Obviously, he's got the size, right? Which can make it a little bit harder for the Hulk to really get a hit in, because he'll have the advantage of being able to smack Hulk away, smack him into a building, kind of get him away from him overall, the usual stuff. That doesn't mean the Hulk still can't get a hold of him or anything else, but it's going to make it a little bit harder. He's got to work twice as hard just to get close enough to his opponent than he would have any other time, right? So we have that, and then the other thing too is the absorption of radiation. Will Godzilla be able to absorb enough? Does he have the ability to absorb the radiation out of the Hulk? My assumption is a no. I feel like he'll only be able to absorb the radiation that the Hulk is radiating, and that's the same thing with the Incredible Hulk. He won't be able to absorb the radiation out, of Godzilla, but anything radiation-wise that's shot at him, he will be able to absorb. Is kind of what I'm thinking. And they'll both get. So the weird thing is, or it's not really weird, they'll both get stronger with that, but also just be continuing to boost themselves up. But I will say, with his radiation blast coming out of his mouth from Godzilla, that is a lot of radiation that Hulk can absorb to make himself even stronger, which I think will be the deciding factor of taking Godzilla out. And I think because of that, right? Because I don't know if we're going to be using Smart Hulk in this at all. Like, are we using his intelligence at all? But regardless, I think even without that as a factor, right? I feel like that in and of itself will be enough for the Hulk to win. And this one, I'm not confident. So this one, I feel like I am, oops, mhm. I am like 55% to 45% sure that Hulk is going to win this death battle. And my reasoning has to do with, I think with Hulk absorbing more radiation than Godzilla, he'll be physically stronger and cause more damage to Godzilla. And where he's absorbing, because he's has the radiation in him already, he won't need to absorb it, and Godzilla wouldn't be able to absorb it to heal, or at least not as quickly, and the Hulk will be able to defeat Godzilla that way. So my prediction is Hulk is going to be the winner of this death battle. But let me know in the comments who you think is going to win this death battle and why. And as always, if you like the content you see, please make sure to like and subscribe down below. Other than that, this is going to be Beastly Eel signing out. Have a wonderful night. Bye bye.